I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. And in today's presentation, we're talking about playing the blame game. 5 simple ways to help break the cycle of blaming. Pointing fingers is easy. Taking responsibility, on the other hand, is really, really hard. At some point or another, you might have found yourself stuck in the middle of the blame game. Maybe you're in the middle of this right now. Perhaps neither you or your partner wants to take responsibility. Or maybe you're fed up because you feel like you never take responsibility for their side, or rather, let's put it this way, that you feel that they never take responsibility for their side of events. So here's the thing, as soon as you start pointing fingers, everyone loses. There are some winners in the blame game. In fact, taking responsibility shows the other person how they should behave also. Sometimes we've just got to go first. And yes, it might not be the ideal, but you should always exemplify the behavior that you want to see. So how can you do this, and how can you finally quit the dreaded blame game? One thing I've always said is that treat others the way you want to be treated, because if you don't respect them, don't expect them to respect you or treat you any differently than you treat them. So how do you break the blame cycle? Eckhart Tolle has stated, whenever something negative happens to you, there is a deep lesson concealed within it. The world you see is the way that you create it. Let that sink in for a second. The blame cycle tends to happen when we struggle to internalize and take responsibility for our own actions. We're trying to find anything external to attach our feelings to, which never really works out well. You might constantly blame others for how your life has turned out. And given there are some things that are out of control, yet at the end of the day, it always comes back to you. If you want things to change, you have to be the first to do the changing. In fact, this might take some serious digging into your own past or even childhood. So, what should you do? 5 tips to get over playing the blame game. Number 1, understand yourself. Blaming is largely something individuals use as a protective mechanism. It's really painful to realize something is your fault, especially if you aren't happy with the outcome. Instead of looking outward, look within. Why are you so quick to blame someone else? What is stopping you from internalizing things? And yes, sometimes some serious therapy is needed to fully get to the bottom of it. Hello? Yes. Yes, about today. I had called yesterday afternoon and canceled today's trip. Well, the subscription is to the gym, and I generally go 3 times a week. But I've had like to make changes because I had some other appointments come up on those days. So I can't always, it depends on if I have doctor's appointments or whether I have dental appointments. And usually they tend to be, sometimes they fall on those days, and I can't help it because I go 3 times a week to the gym because so that was what happened. Yeah, I mean, I can't foresee when a doctor says you got to come in on this day or you got to, and it falls on either a month, because what happens is I usually go at 7 and then come home about 9. And if sometimes I've noticed the last few weeks it's been an hour and I've been standing out there an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there, and then it conflicts with other things because they run late. Yeah, because I was thinking might have had to change Monday, but since and see, like on the next 2 Fridays, one of them's an eye doctor appointment on the 6th, and then I've got to go to the dentist on the 13th. Now on the 6th it's at 11, but I can't always guarantee that I'll be back here by in time to get there because it's so I because if they get delayed and they don't come to 9:30 or 10, and then by the time I get home I don't have time to get to my appointment, and it's like right across the street, so it's not like so that and so then that's like, how do I make sure I do that and get home so I have enough time to sit down a minute before I go somewheres. You understand? Yeah. Yeah, I mean the only thing because what I know that when the computer sets up the schedules, the drivers may end up in a situation where they're coming from across town, or they're on 95 where they get backed up, and and then that forces me to be either delayed, you know. So it's a kind of a vicious cycle of what goes on. But the one good thing is I'm switching from going to the dental school to the dentist that's right across the street. So I think I won't have and I was and I had some implants put in, and then twice they got me there 45 minutes late, half an hour, so that kind of, then those appointments got canceled and had to be rescheduled, you know. And see, and you can't always, no one knows what's going to happen in the traffic or how they schedule clients. And if that, it's like they had, what happened was one time I was the second one picked up, but I was the last one dropped off. And because I was the last one dropped off, and they had to go almost half an hour out of the way to pick up someone, and then another half an hour to go take them where they needed to go. But because the other one was on the way to my appointment, he got dropped off first. And then he had Down syndrome, and then he didn't want to get off the bus, so they had to go in and get the attendant to come and get him off. So, all of those little things put me like 45 minutes late for an appointment that had to be canceled. So yeah, and then hopefully now that the season's over, right, you won't have as many problems. Yeah, yeah, that's it. See now what I need to figure out is, oh no, see, like next Friday my appointment's at 10. So if they don't get there like at 9:30 to pick me up, and I don't always schedule for them to drop me off there because I'm carrying a bag and I don't want to have to carry the bag into the. So it's like, well, what am I going to do? I can't guarantee I'll be there on time, and I need to be there by 9:30 pretty much to make sure I keep that appointment, right? So that's what we run into. Okay, thank you. Hello? Thank you. Bye. Well, that's because this